when you listen to when you listen back to this, you'll notice it's a presence to what we speak about. So I want you to do me a favor. Simple thing. Check to see if you're breathing right now. Just check. Okay. All right. You just check. You're checked. Okay. When you check to see if you're breathing, it is a split second when you stop thinking. It's a split second. And then you start thinking, like right after that. But in the second that you check to see if you're breathing, there are no thoughts. You are just aware. That's all. The awareness is more important than the thoughts in your mind. I want you to realize this is the most important topic because it's not really a topic. So what you do, what you want to practice is you want to practice presence. When people talk about being present to the moment, people talk about mindfulness, people talk about meditation, people talk about the power of now. People talk about a lot of things, and there's a lot of words for it, but the words are irrelevant. What the words are pointing to is the person listening. So I want you to ask yourself, who is aware that you are listening right now? Don't answer it out of your mouth. Just become aware of who's aware that you are currently listening. Just consider that. It will not be found in your head. The first thing the first instinct is, well, I don't know. Let me think about this. I don't know who's listening to my head. You it's a voice that starts to talk. I'm not talking about the voice. I'm asking who's the one who's aware of a voice in your head. And what you'll find if you don't answer it with your mouth, but just become aware, you'll realize that it's you. But who are you? Have you ever asked that question? Have you ever asked, like, who am I? Do you ever say, are you your body? We kind of know we're not our body. We don't say, yeah, body got up and body went and drove the car and body went to work today. We don't say that because we intuitively know we're not our body. That's not who we are. We're in it. But one thing we do get lost in, we get lost in thoughts. We do believe we are our thoughts and our emotions. That's why we get lost in them. So tonight I'm going to be talking about identity. So to show you in terms of the golden funnel, because the golden funnel, I want to show you how dynamic it is. It's not just a manifesting tool. You can manifest with it. It just shows how manifestation works. I want to show you something. Oh, this is dry. I need to read it. Oh my God. All right. So this is how the golden funnel works. When we say who's listening, when we say who's listening, you say this words, don't you? I say who's aware of the thoughts going on in your mind. That's what you say. Well, this is different than the one who's thinking. The one who's talking in your head, the one who's contemplating, the one who's analyzing, the one who's trying to figure out how, it's different than who you are. I want to be clear about this. The one who is asking how am I supposed to do it? the one who's talking, the one who's judging everything, the one who's making decisions, who thinks is making decisions, who's making commentary on everything. Okay, this makes sense, but that doesn't. I think I know what I'm talking about here, there. All of that. That's not being done by this one because this one just says I am. It doesn't say I'm smart, I'm dumb, I'm divorced, I'm black, white, anything. It doesn't say that. It's just I am. I am is actually just your awareness, but it's not your awareness like you have awareness. The awareness and you are exactly the same. Notice you are aware of me speaking right now. A lot of you are aware of maybe thoughts going through your head about what I'm saying. But remember, the thoughts going through your head about what I'm saying and what I'm saying are irrelevant. Here's what I want you to try to do. Here's another exercise for you. While I talk, try to pay closer attention to the space between my words rather than the words themselves. Just try this for a few minutes. Okay? Our attention wants to automatically move to the words. But what about the space between the words? Mind start to think, right? It wants to. The mind comes in like, well, what about it? What about it? That's what the mind wants to say. It's nothing about it. It's not about anything. So what we're talking about is two different forms of consciousness. When you ask, when the voice that asks, what is it about? What about it? That is called objective consciousness. So we could say that that's this funnel. Remember we said this is the conscious mind? Remember we talked about that? The conscious mind is the one who asks, let's think about it. Let's think about it. It needs something to think about. The mind always needs a problem. So what you'll notice is when you sit down and you go to meditate or you're about to meditate, one of the things you'll notice is when you go to meditate, you might be met with a voice that says you don't have time. Okay? What voice do you think that is? It's the talker because it requires no time in order to, it's almost no time to meditate. And here's the other thing. I want you to think about this. When you think about the past, when do you think about it? You think about it right now. When you think about the future, when do you think about it? You also think about that right now. And when you're in the moment, when are you thinking about it? You're thinking about it right now. There is no experience you ever have that is not now. There is no past and future, quite literally. So I want you to consider when your mind goes, well, what about it? What about it? What is it trying to find out? When your mind asks, how are we supposed to do that? Where's it going? It's going in the future. The reason that's so complex and the reason it causes pain is because the future doesn't exist. That's why it causes you pain. Because you're trying to go a place that doesn't exist. So while you're listening to this, I want you to realize over the last 2 weeks, you notice I really haven't told you what to do. I told you some instructions, but have I really told you what to do? I haven't really told you what to do. But are y'all getting progress and are you creating results? How's that? Well, I haven't told you what to do. The key is not to ask what to do. The key is to expand awareness so that there's more awareness than there are thoughts. And that's all we've been doing across the last 2 weeks. So the last 2 weeks, if you've been feeling a little better, or you've been a little more aware of mental activity, like, oh my God, it's because your awareness has expanded. The thought's been there. It's not like the thoughts, those thoughts just now came. And it's like, wow, new problems. No, those have been there. You just didn't realize they were there because your mind was so loud and you were totally identified with your mind. And so when the I am gets lost in here, this is the challenge. This is where ego comes in. You cease to be and you become all thought. This is where we get lost. Who we are and what we think, we can't make a separation between the two. And we get stuck in loops because all we know ourselves to be is all we think ourselves to be. So, what does meditation do? Meditation gets you to disidentify with the thoughts, and it just pops you back up where you actually are. You've never been your thoughts. You've always been aware of thoughts, but you've never been the thoughts themselves. You notice how every thought that goes through your mind, it seems like it's the most important thought in the world. Like, listen to me, I'm very important right now. I must be heard. Or it tells you to speak. It's like, you have to say this or you're going to forget it. You have to say it. You ever had an experience where it's like, say it right now because you're going to forget it. And then it makes you say, you're like, yeah. And you just start speaking. Or it tells you, like, don't say anything. You're going to sound completely stupid. Don't say anything. Don't say it. And then you just freeze up. That's all thoughts. It's a mental image that you're identified with. It's certain ideas or narratives. This is what narratives are. It's a string of beliefs in a story form. So what is the ego? The ego is a collection of past. So when you think of who you are, the first thing the ego in us wants to do is start telling our past. Even when people go on dates, they're like, well, what's your past? Please don't bring it up. We don't want to talk about any of my exes. Please don't make me talk about them. Because we want to talk about the past. That's who we think we are. That's not, you don't think you're that. This mistaken identity, I'm going to put a red I am in here to symbolize the false identity, the false self. This false self, this one takes over. The one that's totally identified with a story takes over. Guess what it lives on? It lives on past and it lives on future. It thinks that it'll be saved from a future moment. It's like, I'm not enough yet. That's how that's how it feels. So it says, I'm not enough yet. I will be enough in the future, which keeps it alive because it knows it is no future. So you'll just keep chasing an illusion. This is what the mind-made self inside of you is doing. My example of this is, I remember when I was younger, my dad was like, you gonna need me before I'm gonna need you. I was like, never. Okay, I'm one of those people. Okay, I'm like, never. I leave the city. I make more money than him. I do everything better than him. Why? This identity in me said, you gotta be better. What did better mean though? It's the identity of how much money I make. Who I am and how much money I make are one. And now, since I make more money than my dad, I'm now superior to my father. That's a story. It's just a story, but when I was lost in the story, it drove all my activity. That's why I made money. A lot of people who make money make it this way. They are driven by some past experience where they say my identity and money are the same. And the more I make, the more I am. And then they can't stop chasing it because you can never have enough. The ego doesn't care how much you have, it just needs more. It doesn't care how much pain you have, it just needs more pain. It doesn't care how much drama you currently have, it just needs more drama. This is not you. This is unconscious thought patterns that drive behavior. So when we went over those 6 basic fears, guess what that is? It's just you identify the fear of poverty. It's just identity with I have a lack of money. Lack of money, no money. What if I have no money? I always have no money. I never have enough. It's never enough money. It's not going to be enough money. I might die if I don't have enough money. That's a narrative. That narrative can drive physical behavior. This is under the surface of your awareness, y'all. Here's another way that the identity can slip in. The ego loves to be right, too. Loves to be right. That's my biggest ego. Mine is huge. My need to be right is so high. You know why my dad used to be like, you don't know shit. He used to say that constantly. But he was right. Like, I really don't know nothing. But I didn't want it to be true. But the ego will always say, it always wants to be right and make others wrong, no matter how it does it. Here's a way to do it. Here's one way it does that. So one way it makes you right and others wrong is by complaining. So what is complaining? Let's talk about that. Complaining is whenever you complain about a circumstance. Oh, they could have done so much better. This food, it was, it was expensive for it to be this little bit of food. It wasn't even really that good. I thought this would be so much better. Like in the lights, it's like too bright. And then the waitress, she was just like unaware. I don't know what the hell she was doing. Like she really wasn't present. I had better service at IHOP. I know this lady, she was way better service at IHOP than this. This is what the voice in the head does. Now, what is it doing? It's making you superior, right, more right than this situation. It's like, this is right and the situation is wrong. This is how the ego slips in. Boom. We don't even know. We don't even know. But it needs, the way that it creates an identity and strengthens this identity is it creates these comparisons. It needs to be right. Okay, another thing it'll do, you'll notice you'll see if you know people who become more spiritual than others, right? When you become more spiritual, it's like, I would never do that. I don't know why. I would never do that. I don't know why they would do that. That is, I'm right and they're wrong. Ego slipped in. That's how it sounds. It just slip in. Or the ego just start talking. It'll just talk. It just talk compulsively, accidentally. Why? If I stop thinking, I'll die. That's what the ego really believes. I remember when I first realized this in me, it was one of the craziest realizations. I realized I felt if I stopped thinking, I would become stupid. It was one of the biggest fears of my life. I thought if I stop thinking, I will be dumb because smart people are thinkers, right? It was a concept in my head. Here's what I realized. When I stopped thinking as much, the thoughts I did think were way more clear and way more powerful. They actually mattered. Majority of the thoughts I was thinking were just worry thoughts. And the ego loves worry because it creates this future. It creates a future. It creates a future to be worried about. It's like, I'm so important that I need to worry about the future. I have this whole future ahead of me. Another way the ego can slip in. The ego can create, and this is a common too. Ego will create huge goals that you'll never hit. So you can feel a sense of importance. And when you fail, it's like, well, I was doing something important. Instead of picking a goal that's audacious, but you can actually hit, but you got to put work in. And then you got to be vulnerable to actually do it. I could lose, I could fail. And I would have no excuse. And if I fail and I have no excuse, I'm not good enough. And when I'm not good enough, I'll die. This is what the ego is actually thinking. It's just identified with the outcome. It needs to be right. It doesn't want to fail, because if it fails, it loses its identity as always being right. Here's another way the ego slips in. Now, this is all just stuff to be aware of. Notice, it's less about the content tonight, and it's more about the awareness of the content. So you're becoming aware of unconscious patterns tonight. That's what we're doing. So another way it can do this, the ego can slip in, and I'm going to read a book that I recommend everybody get. It's going to change your life. But one of the ways that the ego can slip in is it can create certainty. So how does it create certainty? Ego can say, my sister is like this. She will predict the negative is going to happen. Why? Because negative always happens. So eventually, I'm probably right most of the time. So the ego just is like, yeah, it's going to fail. That's what the ego says. Not because it wants it to fail, but because it wants to be right. So this is how cynical you can become cynical accidentally, because the ego in the mind is identified with being right. And it needs to be right. And if it's wrong, it diminishes. If you feel diminished. So the reason that it feels painful to be diminished with your ego is because you and the thought are the same. You feel like you're linked. So when you rip the thought away, it feels like you're ripping a limb off. So whenever I've been embarrassed a lot of times over the last year. Okay, I've just been embarrassed. And when I'm embarrassed, or I'm like, for instance, I felt so less of a man. I came to Kansas. I couldn't do work. Like, I couldn't find the work that I wanted to do. I couldn't make sales like I was making before. I was like a good salesperson. I couldn't make any sales. Like, I feel like less of a man. I'm not bringing the money in. And I had to take the ego hit. I felt less of a man. I felt diminished. But when I realized, I looked back, why did I feel diminished? Because my identity as the provider who makes so much money, as the best salesman, is now not happening. So I feel diminished. But I realized what I did was, what happened was, after that diminishment happened, it was a space. I felt so embarrassed. It hurt. I felt so embarrassed. And then the embarrassment went deep. And then at the end of the embarrassment, it was a space. It was a space at the end of the embarrassment. What happened is a part of my ego was vanquished. And this is what pain does. So this is what's funny about the ego. The ego will create so much pain for you that you can't take it anymore. And then that's when you get rid of it, because you can't hold it. It's like carrying heavy bags around. It's like, oh my God, this heavy. I'm in pain. I'm in pain. You're just carrying a bunch of bricks in a bag that you don't need to. And then once it gets too painful, it's like, oh my God, you just drop the bags. That's how the ego works. And you feel lighter because you literally had to drop the bags. The ego made you feel so bad. It was so heavy that you had to drop the bags. That's how the ego works. So the ego actually is an accelerator for your awakening. And let's qualify the word awaken. Awakening is, let's see if you can do it again. Check to see if you're breathing. How many got in their thoughts just over the last couple minutes because we talked so much, right? Check to see if you're breathing. Just check. See if you can feel the energy in your hands. Don't look at them. Just feel the energy in your hands. See if you can feel it. Do you see how your awareness went to your hands? That's how awareness works. Wherever your awareness goes, energy goes there. This is awareness, not thinking. So now when things happen to you, when you do meditation, let's say sit down, focus on your nose. Why do your thoughts go off? It's about the ego's about to die. It's like if she stops thinking, we're dead. Start thinking, and then just start shooting thoughts into your head. Because the ego cannot live in the light of just present awareness. Because there's no identity, there's no thing to associate with. You're out of it. So that this fictitious self dies. It doesn't want to die. It has a survival mechanism built into it, like it's an animal. So it needs to survive, and it survives off identities, and it needs to create enemies. It needs to create problems. It needs to create more future. It needs to create narratives from the past. That's how it lives. So when you go to meditate and focus on your nose, this ego is literally thinking, oh shit, we are about to die. Think right now. Think thought. Think important thought. Make an itch on your arm. Like anything that it can do, it will do to get you to stop focusing on your nose. It will do anything. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. This is the ego. This is the mind. Even here, okay? If you feel the impulse to type a message, I want you to, the next impulse you feel to type a message, catch yourself before you do it. It's not to say don't do it. I want you to catch yourself and watch how you want to message whatever you want to message. Just catch yourself. It's an automatic thing. You type. It's an impulse. It's an impulse. It's not bad or good. This is not about bad or good. It's just watch the impulses that come up automatically and unconsciously without your awareness. And think about how unaware you are through the whole day. Probably unaware like 95% of the time. What are you doing when you're not there? What kind of habits are going on when you are not here? Guess what habits are happening? Past trauma habits, future worry habits that sabotage what you want. It's almost as if you are, when you're here, you online, you doing right. And then later, some hours go by or a day goes by, and you're like, what the hell am I feeling like this for? You don't even know. You slip back into the how. You had no idea you did it because you didn't do it. The unconscious self did it when you were not home, which is here and now. Everything you do is done here and now. If you have your thoughts in the future, now I'll tell you this, if you want to manifest, you actually do have to think about the future, but it's not the future. What you're doing is you're bringing the future into the moment. It's not even a future. It's just a thought. It's a reality that exists. And all you're doing is tuning into it. Here and now, though. You're not doing it in the future. But when the mind projects it out into the future, you never get it. Ego loves it. Because it got something to work on all the time. It's always a problem, always needs something to solve. It's always something. It loves problems. If there are no problems, it will create one. You can be look, let's think about it. Right now, everybody is not doing much. You are either standing or sitting. Right now, you're breathing and you're looking at a screen. What problems do you have right now? In this moment, not in the next 5 minutes. What problems do you have right now? Any? Truthfully, there are literally no problems. But your mind will make one. Look, squish frogs. Damn it, that's a mind. The mind just made one up. It just created one out of nowhere. It ain't no problems. In this moment, you have none. This is how you are most of the day, by the way. You are either standing, sitting, or laying down, probably breathing. Is there anything you need right now? No. But the mind needs to it needs to need something. It needs a problem to solve. So it will make one. This is how the mind works. So watch your mind. Watch how overactive it is. The biggest addiction we have is actually thinking. It's not drugs, it's not substances, it's not sex, it's thinking. It's the number one addiction we have. Can you stop thinking for 1 minute? Try it. Okay, actually try it. Try to not think for a minute, for 60 seconds. Let's actually try it. Okay? Babe, set a timer. Okay, we're gonna see what we do. Actually, let's do 30 seconds. We're gonna do 30 seconds. We're gonna set a timer. All right, you ready? Mm-hmm. On the count, I'm gonna count down from three. Count down from three. Try not to think a thought for 30 seconds. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, stop. How many people succeeded? Okay, difficult. It's challenging. This is how active our minds are without us knowing it all day. All day. That's the reason why we say tip of the nose, because it's better to have one thought than 1,000. That's actually the reason for one pointed focus. It's just to have it on the tip of the nose. At least that's one thought. And eventually that thought fades away and you just actually press it. Comment everything's like was definitely me. Don't be just realize, y'all, eventually you will be able to stop thinking. You're able to stop thinking for however long. Because here's what, once you become aware of your thoughts, you're not thinking. If you're aware of thoughts, you are not thinking. You are aware. That's the key. But when you think a thought and you go, oh shit, I'm thinking, now you're thinking. Okay, that's when you're actually thinking. But if the thought just came up and you were aware of the thought, you are not thinking. You're just aware of it. This is just training. This is training. So to train your attention. Now, is it a problem to have thoughts? No. Okay, some people are more spacious than they are thoughtful. I'm more on a thought end than I am on a space end. Leisha is more spacious than she is thought, but she has powerful, clear thought. I have I have a lot of RAM for my thought. I have a lot of thought, but there's space in both of us. So everybody has a different proportion. You just got to know how much space you are to thought. But the challenge is not if you're thinking or not, is are you consciously doing it? Because the challenge is, okay, right now, I'm not really talking about anything. This whole time, I'm not really talking about any particular thing. So if the mind is trying to grasp this, it's like, what's the point of this? Like, get to the point. That's what the mind is trying to say. Like, what's the point? Like, say the point. Get to it. Get to it. That's what the mind wants. It's like, what are you trying to say? Just say it. And the challenge is for the mind, it's never going to grasp it because we're not talking about a concept. The one who is aware of these words being spoken is the point, which is not a point at all. It's awareness. So whenever you go throughout your day, what you want to try to do is add space. Like we said, let's try this again. Focus on the space between my words. Let's do that for the next minute. I'm going to still talk like I'm talking now, but just focus on the space between my words. Realize it's always a space behind noise, even. Notice how the sound rises out of nowhere and falls back into nowhere. Out from nowhere into nowhere. It just comes out of the moment itself and falls back into the moment itself. The space is the foundation. You couldn't hear sound unless there was silence under it. It's a contrast. You don't know black unless you see white. You don't know dry unless you've been wet. You don't know the difference. If a human was a fish, and if a human was a fish, and another fish swam up to you and said, "What you think about all this water?" The fish would say, "What water?" Because it's just everywhere. That's what a human fish would say. It's like, "What water?" Just like we say, "What about all these thoughts?" It's like, "What? What about all this silence, this space? What space?" We're swimming in space. Okay? If you ever looked up in the sky at night, what's the majority up in the sky? What do you see when you look up in the sky? Type in the chat what you see in the sky. There we go. Stars. Some people see it's stars and it's space.
Nothing and everything at the same time.
So think about this. This is exactly how your mind is, y'all. It's only two things. You have objects and space. Thoughts are the objects. The rest is space. It's more space than objects. But how often do we look up there and we say, I don't know if you ever looked in the sky with an astronomer or somebody who knows stars. They're like, that's Jupiter, that's Saturn, that's actually a satellite. This is the constellation of Aries. And then you start telling you all this stuff about it. That's the mind. It's none of those words. Drop the words and just look. And when you look and you look and you look, you realize how vast the space is. It's so much space. We are in the middle of nowhere. I mean, if you look up there, we are nowhere. It's just, and when you actually take that in, you feel spacious. Look up in the sky and do that. We'll go back to watching the space between these words. Go back to watching your mind wander off. Squirrel. Watch your mind. It's squirreling. You want to rein your thoughts in so they don't squirrel. Okay? Be here. Now, here's the challenge with that. When you start to go meditate and you start to be here, what's going to happen, especially when you go move into your body, when you move into your physical body, traumas are there. Traumas are there. So that's why we don't like to be by ourselves, or we don't like to be silent, or we need to be doing something, or we need some activity on the phone going. Because if you go silent, you are in your body and your traumas are there. You don't want to be with them. That's what you're really avoiding. The reason you don't want to be alone, you don't want to be in a room by yourself, is for a extended period of time, or not thinking about something, is because if you stop thinking, the traumas will come up. But this is the beautiful part. If you allow space and allow the feelings, whatever's in your body, just observe what's in there. It'll come up and it'll make you want to be reactive. If you just allow it to be and allow yourself to feel whatever you feel without labeling it. Don't let it go up to your head and turn into a story. Because that's what happens. When the feelings come up in your body, it goes into your head. If you let it into your head, it turns into stories. That's where anxiety comes from. But if you let the feelings just come up and don't label them, don't call them anything, just let them come up and feel them through, you'll realize whatever, it's just vibrations. You'll feel them. And as you feel them and your awareness of them, you're not the feelings, but your awareness of them, they start to dissipate. When they start to dissipate, you'll realize stuff free up. That's when miracles start happening. That's when manifestations start happening, because you've freed up, cleared up energy for new energy to come in. That's how it works. What we've been doing unconsciously, we designed it this way on purpose, because we are mental beings. We're not trying to act like, okay, everybody's about to be a monk. Let's go off into the mountain and meditate. We're not gonna do that. But what we can do is we can understand the system of how to create a reality that's more conscious. Uses awareness and expansion of awareness of feeling and awareness of how things work. All it is awareness, and that awareness allows you to create. That's all we're doing. So this last 2 weeks it's been thought, but realize I haven't been telling you what to do. All we're talking about is the structure. Okay? So if you got a question, go ahead, raise your hand, and then Alicia will unmute you.
Question, comment, realization.
And let's hear from some people who don't normally talk. Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to read a couple things and we can be off. If nobody got a question yet, it's fine. If nobody got a question, let me just read these to you then. Okay? I'm going to read a couple things to you. This is a book that I recommend y'all get, A New Earth. This book changed my life. This book actually changed my life. A New Earth. I'm going to read a couple things. Most people are so completely identified with the voice in the head, the incessant stream of involuntary compulsive thinking, and the emotions that accompany it, that we may describe them as being possessed by their mind. As long as you are completely unaware of this, you take the thinker to be who you are. This is the egoic mind. We call it egoic because there is a sense of self or I in every thought, every memory, every interpretation, every opinion, viewpoint, reaction, emotion. This is unconsciousness, spiritually speaking. So when we speak of somebody being unconscious, it's not they're just dead. It's that there's a sense of I invested in every thought they think. They think that what they're saying is true. And it's the truth, and it's who they are. No, I believe this. Okay, it's still a thought. And there are billions of other ones. That's not as important as you think. That's the key. Okay, next. I'm going to read this. Complaining is one of the ego's favorite strategies for strengthening itself. Every complaint is a little story the mind makes up that you completely believe in. Whether you complain aloud or only in thought makes no difference. Some egos that perhaps don't have much else to identify with easily survive on complaining alone. When you're in the grip of such an ego, complaining, especially about other people, is habitual and, of course, unconscious, which means you don't know what you're doing. That's me. I do this all the time. I catch myself in the middle. Okay, stop complaining. I just catch myself. So here's how it's gonna work. When you first start to become aware of your thoughts, it won't be until after you just had the blackout episode. And then you look back like, damn, I shouldn't have said all of what I just said. That's gonna be the first phase, okay? Next is gonna be you'll realize it in the moment. It's like, okay, I'm in it right now. I'm probably too deep in it to stop it, but I'm in it. Oh my God, I'm in my ego. I can feel it. Next, you'll realize before it starts to rise, like it's coming up. It's like, I can feel myself. Before it comes up, you're like, I can see. And then after that, you'll have mostly space, and then it's just a little bing, and you'll know it's there, and it'll go away. It'll be almost impossible for it to come in. That's the phases.
Tanya has a question.
Tanya, you got a question?
She said, so people that think they're conscious are actually unconscious.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. If you hear somebody say, I'm conscious, if you hear somebody say that, that is a sure sign that they're unconscious.
The royal voice.
Because that's the ego. I just gotta put the ego voice in that because that's what it's like. But yeah, if somebody says, "Oh yes, I woke up and I finally woke up. It's the end of my awakening. I did that back in 2006." If you say and believe it, okay, it's done. The ego has now captured you. It's you deep in it. Now I can say the first experience I had of pure awareness was in 2016, but that's just the birth. I just got born. I was a baby in consciousness, and I'm still a baby. But my first experience of pure awareness, 2016, that was for me. Now everybody's is different. Some people never had it before, which is fine. You don't need to have a full awakening. All you need to do is check to see if you're breathing. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is say, okay, I'm thinking thoughts right now, and all of them are equally irrelevant. Existentially, every thought that I'm thinking is pretty much irrelevant. When I die, everything about what I think I am will be gone. Nobody's going to remember me. Matter of fact, the earth is going to be gone soon. In the universal blink of an eye, it's going to be gone. Nobody's going to have a trace of earth. Nobody knows us, even though humans exist. Think about that. So how important are we really in this little blip of time? It's not really that important. When you put it in that perspective, that helps you just come to your reality. That helps you become a little more conscious about what our existence are. Here another one. Okay, resentment means to feel bitter, indignant, aggrieved, or offended. You resent other people's greed, their dishonesty, their lack of integrity, what they're doing, what they did in the past, what they said, what they failed to do, what they should or shouldn't have done. The ego loves it. Instead of overlooking unconsciousness in others, you make it into their identity. Now, this is now projecting identity. So when Leisha start getting into her mood, I'm like, if I think that's her, okay, I'm slipping into my own ego. We're gonna have a tiff if I do that. But if I feel she just had a reaction and I can stay aware, like that's not my girl. That's just an ego. And I won't say that's your ego. You need to fix that. And I'm not about to tell her that because that's gonna make it worse. Okay, I'm not about to do that. I'm smarter than that. All right, I'm smarter than that. I'm not gonna do that. But my job is I'm the aware one right now. My job is to just stay aware and be the space for her to have her experience. and she has her experience. Usually she come back. Luckily, Alicia come back quick. I might be gone more often, but at least be more space for me. But at least we got space. We understand. If she more aware, she the boss. She responsible. If I'm more aware, I'm responsible for holding space. But most of the time, we both in space. But we understand that. Okay? So it's unconsciousness. It's unconsciousness. Who's doing that? The unconsciousness in you makes the other person the unconsciousness. You think that's their identity. That's the ego. Okay, next. Non-reaction to the ego in others is one of the most effective ways, not only of going beyond ego in yourself, but also dissolving the collective human ego. What y'all are doing in this group is dissolving the collective human ego. It's the ego that can make another person, because of their belief system, an enemy and less than human and feel justified in killing them because they wave a different flag with a different belief. They feel justified in killing them. That's the ego. Totally identified with thoughts. It's insane. It's true insanity. Identification with thought is the root of insanity. This is what y'all are breaking in the world. By when somebody react, I'm not saying let somebody come at you with a damn chainsaw. Okay, I'm not telling you to do that. But I am saying if they acting crazy, realize that's not them, that's the ego, and act accordingly. Maybe I need to move out of the way. Yeah. But realize I'm not making this into who they are. By not judging them as this is who they are and just responding to the moment, realizing that I'm spacious and they're not at this moment, they have to be doing what they're doing because they're in the thoughts that they think they are. Let it be. By doing just that, you liberate people. This is what you'll notice. When you start doing this for people, being the space for people, people will go from upset, irate, pissed off, especially if you're in sales or some kind of business. They get pissed off, and then all of a sudden they just, it's like they come out of a damn spell. And they go, you know what? So what are you doing? What's the thing you got? And they just ask you what you got. It happens all the time. It's the space that you allow. The people just want to be seen, but not seen like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and listen to you, but I don't really want to. Not that. Okay? It's I'm about to totally give you this space. Probably nobody ever did that before for them. So they feel that you gave them space and they change. The consciousness changes. And they'll never forget you. But what they're not forgetting is a moment of presence with less thought. Let's worry about how they look. Let's worry about who they think they are. Okay, last one and I'll quit. Okay, whenever you notice that voice, you will also realize that you are not the voice, but the one who is aware of it. In fact, you are the awareness that is aware of the voice. In the background, there is awareness. In the foreground, there's the voice, the thinker. In this way, you are becoming free of the ego from the unobserved mind. Y'all, this is the game. This is the game. By doing this in combination with focusing on your goal, you create space, which clears out all of the junk. It's like make your engine run better. And then you focus on your goal and you feel better. Like, yes, I can feel it. Now you're going forward with less resistance. This is the game. Reduce resistance, which increases speed. Increase the intensity of your focus. Focus. When you do these practices on the ego, guess what's going to happen? Your goal is going to become more clear. You're going to get flashes of insight because what you're doing, you clearing out the gunk that was in there that was blocking the thoughts from the good thoughts from coming in. And then boom, thoughts come in. The right ones.
Tanya has a question.
Tanya?
She said unobserved mind. Can you break that one down?
Yeah, so anytime, it's the same thing we've been talking about. So unobserved mind. If you catch yourself doing something, a habit, let's whatever the habit is, you know your habits, right? So maybe you just get pissed off at something. Maybe you get energy just like, oh, whatever the energy is, okay? You catch yourself doing it, but you catch yourself after. The only reason you did that is because it was a mind that was unobserved hijacking your body and doing it on your behalf. So any activity that you do unconsciously, meaning you don't even want to be doing it. That's any addiction, that's any habit, that's any complaining, that's any time that you feel negative, that's any bad emotion. Would you consciously choose a negative emotion? No, right? You will only consciously choose positive emotions. So any time that you're in a negative state or less than optimal state, it's an unconscious mind. It's the unobserved because if you were to observe it, it would go away. Okay? Good question. That's a real good question. One more. Go ahead. I'm Tanya.
Okay, so just to kind of, I guess, dig into that a little deeper. So if we go with what we know. So we may have hated the way our parents did something, but we do it anyways. And I've had to check myself on this as a parent. Like I'll do it. It's a reflex to do it. And then like, I'll take a moment after like, oh shit, like I hated that. Why did I do that? So that would be the, I guess, unobserved mind.
That's the unobserved mind. Yes, it's unobserved. Because if you were present, what happened, like if you were aware enough, had enough awareness to catch it before it happened, you would have felt it raising up and go, oh, this is just a pattern that I picked up. And by observing the pattern, maybe you would have felt the emotion, but it would have quickly dissipated and you could make a new choice. But if you can't make a new choice, don't beat yourself up. It's okay, I'm aware that I was unaware enough to make a new choice. Okay, that's where I was. That's where I am now. Okay, I'm aware now. So you see it afterward right now, but as you keep practicing this, but you'll notice it in the middle of it. You'll notice yourself in the middle of that pattern that your parents did and go, okay, I'm in the middle of this pattern. Stop. I'm doing something different. And then soon you're going to catch it before it rises up, right as it's coming up. But that's the process. Meditation is going to help with that too.
Oh, yeah. Is this where standard thought procedures come in?
100%. Yes, because that is exactly where standard thought procedures come in. When you catch yourself doing a habit, and this is where the south node is important too. So for me, my south node is in Cancer. That means I just had a habit of wanting family. I always want family. I want to take care of everybody. I want the family together. I want them all to feel like family. That's me. I'm a care bear. But the problem is that's a reactive behavior for me. It's unconscious. I'm unconsciously always trying to take care of people and always trying to make people family. I need the family. I need it. That's an unconscious behavior for me. So whenever I do feel like that, what I have to do is I have to stop and go, okay, I am reactive. I'm needy right at this particular moment. Let me stop, become aware. I don't need anything. I'm fine. I'm spacious. Now I can approach this without needing something from that person. Okay. If I don't do that, I'm in unconscious thought pattern. That's me. So that happens a lot. So your south node is going to happen a lot to you. So that's where I always start. I always start with south node activity. So if you see the chat GPT, I'm going to put that, let's put that in the chat after. Go to the chat GPT, look at the south node and say, what are the behavioral habits of my south node that I probably need to be aware of? Start there. It's going to pop up a bunch of behaviors. And you're like, yep, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Start there. And it'll just help you practice becoming more aware. And that's going to really create the most progress in your life anyway. So that's what I would do for an exercise, just to become aware. Now, don't go digging for it. Okay? There's a lot of people, when they talk about shadow work, they start digging for all the negatives. Like, let me find all of them. Okay? But you don't want to do that because whatever you think about, most of the time you create. So you don't want to do that. Okay? That's not what you're going for. It's just when it does come up, be aware of it. And what in order to do that, just be present. That's all that means. As I'm doing this live right now with you, I'm just presently doing this live right now with you. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm not thinking about yesterday. I'm not even thinking about the next thing coming out of my mouth. I'm just here with you. That's what I'm doing. I can feel what is coming through me, and I'm just doing it. So I'm not thinking about it. So a lot of people, when they're good at what they do, they don't think. It's less thought than ever. So you'll notice that in yourself. You'll notice that in other people. The people you like and the people you like to be around, they just don't have as many thoughts when they're doing whatever you like them to do. Okay, so just realize that. Good question, though. Good question, Kobe. Anybody else got any questions? It's a good session, y'all. Yeah. Sports entertainers, yeah.
Yes.
That's why people love sports.
Tonight my goal is to set up the calendar and send that out.
Okay. Did you say
Jordan? That was Jordan, by the way.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Good job, Jordan. They get that credit.
Let's go. Jordan said something. Yes. Woo! She said something. Okay, where's Sarah? No, where Lisa? Lisa, come on. What you got to say? You got to say something this time. Come on. This your time.
Nervous. Okay, I'm nervous now. Y'all put me on the spot.
I know I hyped you up. I'll put you on the spot.
I don't know. Did you ask a question? I don't know what to share.
No, I just wanted you to unmute and say something so we could actually hear you. That's it.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, we love it.
What? So tell me what's the biggest thing that you noticed? Because you actually have been noticing and having some awarenesses. So what you noticed tonight?
I noticed that when you said to use the example of using your South Node, my South Node is in Aries, so I'm very like independent and like, I think I got it. I think I know it all pretty much. So when I hopped on the live, normally, like starting off, it was fine. But it made me notice that when I hop on live, I have that know-it-all attitude. So I'm just like taking in information and like, yeah, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just checked myself, and now I need to think more of the community and everybody else.
There we go. Yeah. That's good. That's a good awareness right there. Mm-hmm. That's an excellent awareness. Yes. That's a perfect example. Because the Aries South Node I'm an Aries, so I'm the same way. Mine, but my South Node is not the same as yours. That's more of a tendency.
Yeah.
From your past, you're already good at that. You did that already. But that's good that you noticed that. That's awareness. Expanded awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lisa. For letting us hear your voice.
Yes, yeah, that was very helpful.
Good.
Better.
Good.
I'm gonna do better. Feeling better now.
Good. Yeah, and you know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what to do. Good. All right. Look, so if it's no more questions, I'm gonna hop off here. I want to take up all your time. Tonight was not about the content. It was about y'all realize this is an awareness game. Stop playing the thinking game. Everybody's lost in thinking. They're thinking too much. Get the advantage by just being aware. And first be aware of yourself. Be aware of your unconscious habits and your reactions, and you will be less reactive to other people's unconscious habits. That way you navigate the world without being reactive to anybody, and you just sail straight to what you want without being reactive. It is not what I want all the time. You know what I'm saying, though. So, Leisha gonna send out that astrology one and play with it. See, and then throughout the day, just be aware. The game is awareness. The game is awareness. People, I want you to realize this also. Creative people have expanded awareness. Creative people are always better at things than super technical, straightforward people, with the exception of engineering. When you're dealing with engineers, you're not dealing with creating something from nothing. Creative people can create something from nothing. Y'all are creative. Y'all are not just technical straight and narrows. And I'm talking about even in the technical professions. If you do any type of sales, if you do any type of electric technology, if you do anything that has to do with business, more business than arts, you will have the advantage just by expanding awareness. People don't even know why they're buying from you. They don't even know why they like you. They don't know why they're choosing you. They don't know why they are recommending other people to you. They just say, you have to meet them. I don't know. You just have to meet the person. That's what they tell people, because you have an awareness. You give them space to be themselves, where everybody else is ignoring them. They all caught in their own head. So rather than being in your head, if you get out of yours and allow space for other people, people love you. It's something about it. That's why y'all love Alicia, because she got more space than me. That's why. Okay? It's just how she is. I know, but that's the thing. I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it. But she got the game on that. But that's what it is. It's about the awareness. All right. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the chat. Light up the chat. All right. Love y'all.